Kuzampo, this is Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. My name is Bhutan. Our top stories this week: laying foundation for change, the government completes its first year in office. Circuit-based tourism development replaces focused zonal component of the tourism flagship program. And Paro FC claims the Bhutan Premier League title ahead of the season's end. The news in detail. Reflecting on the achievements and initiatives transpired so far, the government marked the completion of 1 year after assuming office, making teachers the highest paid civil servants, instituting technical and vocational education and training as an autonomous agency, removal of cut-off point for class 10, forwarding the Mines and Minerals Bill to the Parliament were the highlights of Prime Minister Dr. Lottit Sring's address on the occasion.
Dr. Lottit Sring said, on 7th November 2018, as Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa assumed office as the government, it was a journey in service of the nation. Since then, he said, they have come a long way. 2 months into its term, the government decided to do away with the cut-off point for class 10. The move was to provide the less privileged with equal opportunity to continue their education till class 12. Similarly, towards addressing the issue of youth unemployment, the government reformed the TVET sector as an autonomous body. This is expected to create employment and build a national workforce.
도토 배워진 추진 클래스 주탐기 주두 가테 마토미수기 락체들리르지기 존다 빼하나 주 팔레 투밍알레 가테 마토베 뒤무고벨라 락체들 릭셀기 존더디스에 가라 추진 클래스 중이 좁다 구추니베 중이 좁이간레 티코라 디플로마 잡니 advanced diploma 잡니 degree 잡니 masters 잡니 phd 잡니 콩리게 람디 희상 서베 잔다바친 디나 주미기 토와키메 레샤티용 디수기 유 ngachri dunang khenadidi te jam tongtobe besup teram.
The Prime Minister added, in the face of growing attrition rate of teachers, the government has now made teaching the highest paid profession in civil service.
The tsora ngachigi shirigi putse lejim jogobachin lebe lejim gola. Lebegi putse lejim go. Lebegi khoba yunte lejim go se shunibi. 다니기 들려 ngachigi 다 라충구지 구가치레 주의세 와친 뉴포기 야신디 르베술루 마수지 피디유에서 주니비 디게 좁맨라 디 구인세 주니비라 땡아치기 다레 네갑지가로 땡아치기 RUB나 유미 콜레지 디수기 가라기 데 튀디수 야신베 다림기 포 야신 벽업에서도 다나르행하기 주로 둠타 지베시나 땡아치리 포로다 삼지기 르베 베조카나 유미기 롭투디수기 다림기 포디 제밀레 마수치베 피이세 주니비.
The Prime Minister said, since day one in office, the government has been working tirelessly in making the 1,000 Golden Days Plus a reality. Through this program, every Bhutanese child until the age of 2 years will receive an all-inclusive package of health and well-being services. It includes conditioned cash transfer for the underprivileged mothers to avail themselves of maternal and child services. Considering the critical role of the local government in narrowing the gap, the government from this fiscal year introduced the annual block grant at the Geok level. The local government now has complete autonomy to prioritize and approve development activities. Redefining the tourism policy of high value, low volume, Dr. Lottit Sring said the government redefined the Tourism Council membership, created the Tourism Development Board, drafted tourism policy and conducted the first ever National Tourism Conference. Besides the address, a magazine titled The Executive, underlining the achievements and experiences of the government in its first year, was also released. Pema Saldan Sring, BBS News.
The government will now take a circuit-based tourism development approach for its tourism flagship program. This means all 20 districts will receive an equal opportunity, unlike the earlier plan of having only 4 districts in the program's focused Zonka component. The government approved this change following a proposal from the Tourism Council of Bhutan and the Gross National Happiness Commission.
Under the new development, the TCB has identified 4 circuits of Eastern, Western, Southern and the Central. The Eastern and Western Circuit have the highest number of districts, while the Central Circuit has the least with just 3. As per the Council, the move is based on consultations with all concerned agencies, stakeholders and recommendations provided by the local government.
Our key partners were of the view that Sarbang also had an equal opportunity to be implemented as a focus Dzongkhag. Likewise, then many other Dzongkhags have also approached TCB saying that they also have equal potential and opportunity. So based on, as I said earlier, based on consultation with all the concerned agencies, then we have decided that it will be better for us to implement this flagship program as a circuit-based tourism development.
On an average, each circuit will receive 100 million yuan in 5 years' time.
The distribution of money to each Dzongkhag will depend on their potential for tourism development and promotion, as well as activities that we have identified in each Dzongkhag.
He added the circuit-based tourism development will help develop connections between different districts, thereby enabling tourists to visit more nearby districts. The government has allocated a total of 1.5 billion yuan in the current plan for the tourism flagship program. The program aims to contribute to the national economy, improve rural livelihood, improve seasonal and regional balance of tourism, and enhance visitor satisfaction through improvement of services. For Pematawang Kilidem, PBS News.
Hospitalization and deaths due to influenza viruses can now be prevented as the Ministry of Health launched the influenza vaccination. However, only the 5 identified high-risk groups can avail themselves of the service. Influenza vaccine is a vaccine that protects against infection caused by influenza viruses.
The high-risk groups are pregnant women, children less than 24 months, elderly above 65 years, people with chronic medical conditions, and health workers. They can now get vaccinated from any hospitals, basic health units, and outreach clinics across the country.
With this introduction of the vaccine, influenza-associated hospitalization and death, especially due to pneumonia in children below 24 hours, is expected to reduce in the country now. This institutionalization of the vaccination program into the routine immunization will also provide platform to deploy the influenza vaccine for general population during the pandemic.
The world will experience influenza virus outbreaks periodically, but it is very difficult to predict timing as influenza virus evolves constantly every season. According to the influenza surveillance conducted by the Royal Center for Disease Control, Bhutan has 2 flu seasons. First is in winter, which is from December to March. The second season coincides with monsoon, which is from July to September. And the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group has recommended influenza vaccination for winter season in November and December every year. As per the recommendation, the influenza vaccination will now be made available in November and December every year. And you have to get vaccinated every year. Globally, WHO estimates about 3 to 5 million cases of severe illness and about 3 to 700,000 respiratory deaths resulting due to influenza outbreak annually. In Bhutan, respiratory illness is one of the top 10 diseases affecting all age groups and is mainly caused due to influenza virus illness. This is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
To enhance human resource of the government agencies, the Royal Civil Service Commission launched the 3rd program on professionalizing the public service. The 3-year program aims to train around 100 civil servants.
The RCSC and Singapore Polytechnic signed the Note of Understanding in the presence of the Health Minister Dishan Wangmo and Mr. Goh Geck Kim, the chairman of Temasek Foundation International of Singapore. Under the program, trainings will be conducted for selected civil servants from 7 ministries.
We would be training selected civil servants who would eventually develop and design professional standards for the civil service. For example, one of the occupational groups that we are going to select would be engineers. So at the outcome of this program, we will have some engineer standards as well as engineer licensing and certification program. So eventually we are hopeful that when the Engineering Council gets set up, these standards and certification frameworks would be very useful for the engineers in the country.
Other targeted civil servants would include TVET teachers, human resource officers, which will ensure accreditation and standardization of their profession. Singapore Polytechnic will provide necessary technical support to develop human resource capacities, while Temasek Foundation International will provide funding support for the program.
Basically, it involves 7 ministries. Each of them are identified, where they go through this process of within their own ministry to identify the needs, the problems, and the competent base that they want to achieve and how they apply that. This will then be cascaded down to the rest of the staff to identify where the next level.
The 3 partners signed its first note in 2014. Under the program, RCSC introduced design thinking training and developed competency-based frameworks for civil servants in 2016 and 2018 respectively. It is to provide skills to civil servants to solve complex problems, identify opportunities, generate innovative ideas, and provide realistic recommendations. As a part of the program, 30 master trainers were also certified today. For Pematawang, Kiladem, PBS News.
Come 2020, Paro College of Education will introduce 2 new programs as well as upgrade its postgraduate diploma in Dzongkha education program from 9 months to 18 months. This, according to the college, is to make its programs teaching and research responsive and useful to the societal needs. The college also plans to start the master's program for special education and bachelor's of education in Dzongkha from next year. Currently, Paro College of Education offers 2 master's courses, 3 bachelor's courses, 2 diploma programs and 1 postgraduate diploma program. These are the Masters of Education in Leadership and Management and Masters of Education in Dzongkha, Bachelors of Education in Primary, Secondary and Dzongkha, and Diplomas in Physical Education and Early Childhood. The college also offers postgraduate diploma in Dzongkha education for 9 months. However, this program is being restructured to an 18-month program to emphasize on quality of student engagement and learning.
University graduates come here and spend 9 months undergoing the program, including 6 weeks of practicum in schools. In consultation with the Ministry of Education and the Royal Civil Service Commission, we have actually increased the duration of the existing program to 18 months. So this will be very good for the students because then they get to spend almost a semester instead of 6 weeks in the school, learning how to teach, learning how to plan lessons, learning how to manage classroom, learning how to understand child psychology, and so on.
Paro College of Education was first started in 1975 as a teaching training institute. The institute was later renamed as the National Institute of Education in 2000 after introducing the first Bachelor of Education program. For Sangachizum in Paro, Pupgam for BBS News. Gelifu Thomde terminated lease agreements of 10 plot owners at the Industrial Service Centre in Dashiling constituency last month. According to the Thomde, it is a result of lack of work progress at their sites. The plot owners have been asked to surrender their lease agreement and land lease certificates.
The Thomde said the 10 plot owners failed to complete the construction works at the allotted plots even after an extension of the deadline by 9 months. Initially, the works were supposed to be complete by December 2018. The plots include 5 automobile workshops, 3 manufacturing units, a car wash and a godown. Gelifu Thompe Tikaram Kafle explained the administration terminated the lease agreements for those who had done nothing at the Industrial Service Centre. He said the plot owners unanimously agreed the final extension during a meeting held earlier this year.
When the committee from here went for the verification, the main objective was whether they have completed the construction or not. So these 10 people, since they have not even started or not completed, that's why they have picked up these 10 names, and we have been, the administration have terminated them.
He added for the rest of the plot owners who had invested on the site development works, the committee will consider their case according to the government procedure.
What percentage of works they have done. And yes, to be very clear that some of the plots owners seem logical because they had invested at least for the site development, and there are owners who have never turned up, and it shows that it is a complete negligence on their part. So maybe these 2 issues will be looked into by the committee, and accordingly the decision will be taken.
Meanwhile, the affected plot owners appealed to the Thomde last week to reconsider its decision. They said most works could not be completed during the summer, delaying timely completion. At the same time, some of them said the building permit was approved in July 2018 with a 2-year validity. So the plot owners have until July 2020 to complete the constructions. The industrial service area spreads across 111.5 acres of land. Its leasable plots, which amount to 46.94 acres, were allotted through a allocative format to provide equal opportunity to all participants. For Karmawangde in Sarbang, Kiladim, PBS News.
There is demand for local food items in the international market, but the food items fail to meet the international technical requirements. To help Bhutan take advantage of the premium market, a 2-day workshop on export quality management was held. It is expected to develop the capacity of government and private sector on quality and standards of food items.
Bhutan is not able to fulfill the technical requirements of high-end market like in Europe, the United States and Japan. Those requirements are health and hygiene, food safety, certification process and conforming to the standards. EU-Bhutan Trade Support Project helps small and medium enterprise to access new market with a focus on the EU to identify and comply with quality and standards to meet international requirements of the products. The workshop will come out with an action plan to provide a way forward to meet the requirements.
Basically, for the premium market like the EU, US or Japan, they have different standards. Like every country have their standards. So because our enterprises are not able to fulfill these standards, that's why they are not able to export. There were a number of times where the samples, the products were being developed. They also contacted buyers from the premium markets, and when they actually tried to export, the export was stopped, like in the importing country, just because we were not able to meet these technical standards.
Bhutan exports limited amount of ginger, turmeric, mushroom and dairy products of yaks to premium markets. But export could increase if the technical requirements are met. Choni Dama for BBS News.
For time immemorial, the Lhob communities along the Amochu Valley in Samtsi have been living in bamboo huts. Until recently, the Lhobs of Lower Amochu Valley in Ngawatamte continued with their tribal lifestyle, which was along the poverty line. To alleviate the livelihood of Lhobs at Ngawatamte, the Tarayana Foundation stepped in with their housing project.
Raised a meter or two from the ground, these huts are no bigger than a small bus. Usually housing 5 people, it provides no protection from natural elements like rain and wind.
Before Tarayana came in, all the Lhobs were staying in huts like this. We are all poor, no one could afford to construct bigger and better houses.
Poor house condition meant poor health and sanitation. This also led to not having the will to improve their livelihood. Among the many social issues, Tarayana Foundation picked housing to assist the Lhobs of Ngawang Ramte.
In that small hut, there are several family members. The parents, son and wife and their children all sleep in the same room. This doesn't seem right for us to see, and even they themselves say it is uncomfortable. They eat, live and sleep in the same place, unlike other places where people have kitchen, sitting room and bedrooms.
With Tarayana's support, a lot of people have now constructed proper houses. Tarayana gave us CGI sheets, funds for making planks and all. This way we could construct our own houses.
Each household was given 24,000 Newton as labor charges along with cement and nails. The foundation also assists people with permit formalities. An addition of about 150,000 Newton needs to be borne by the people themselves.
Once people have proper house, they will have more needs, a will to have more in their secured house. Then they start working. Also, there is a security to leave their spouses and children at home. This gives them the drive to earn a living, helping themselves to improve their standard of living.
There were no skilled masons or carpenters in the community. Everything had to be taught, posing more challenges. Of the initial target to help construct 200 houses, 131 have been completed.
We were unaware before, but now we know, and that is why most are keeping their surroundings clean and starting to live a healthy life.
We are willing to do more with people guiding us. We won't say we won't do this and that. The Queen Mother has been so gracious to us. Whatever they command, we will do. This will ultimately benefit us.
Having a secure shelter is a new beginning for the Lhobs here. A house is a start point to reduce other social issues like Lhobs leaving schools, teenage pregnancies, and divorce cases. Sharabdoji, BBS News, Samtse.
Paro FC ended the Thimphu-based football club's 6 years of dominance of the top domestic league as they emerged as the new champions of Bhutan Premier League 2019. With the title, the club has become the second club outside Thimphu to win the league after Ugan Academy FC.
Paro FC confirmed the title of the Bhutan Premier League 2019 during their clash against Druk Stars FC at the Changnimithang National Stadium last week. They defeated Druk Stars FC 2-0. Looking to end this season in style, the club continued their winning streak. In their second last game yesterday, Paro FC bet Druk United FC in a 7-goal thriller. Formed in 2018, Paro FC came very close to winning the National League in the same year. However, Thimphu City FC held them back in the last match of the league. Paro FC finished second.
Just before 2 years, I think Paro FC wasn't there even in the picture in Bhutan football.
Yes.
Just on the debut season, we were really very close to clinch our title on the debut season, but unfortunately we had to settle for the first runner-up.
Yes.
And on the second season, we were fully determined, and we are really, I should say, lucky to have such supportive management.
Yes.
nahi dinga transport united FC na sakse bala te nahi national league digi te dichue te paro FC na lu zimis lo lu te migil digi ni pera di te ngachi ge khatopchi te ngara jamchi member ngachi la tamba zo domo ngachi management te ni ba coach te symbol ngachi team sem regime
has been only 2 years, but I think we have put in a lot of effort. The management has done their job, the technical team has done their job, and as well the players have done their job. I think we have had a very good experience in the BUB Premier League 2019, though it was very short that we couldn't make it to be the champions in 2018, but 2019 we have clinched 2 games ahead of the whole season.
As the champion of Bhutan Premier League 2019, Paro FC will represent Bhutan in the AFC Cup 2020.
We are going to go all out on our preparation. We want to start our preparation immediately after our last match, and then I'm hopeful that our boys will give their best, and then we have a strong management backing us. So I feel that in the AFC Cup we'll be able to deliver up to the expectation of our fans and our people, our nation.
Paro FC will play their last match of the competition against Thimphu City FC. Similarly, the defending champions Transport United FC confirmed the second place in the league after defeating Druk United FC last week. Meanwhile, going by the latest point table, Thimphu City FC stands in the third place, followed by Ugen Academy FC and Druk United FC. The bottom 5 teams from the league will be relegated to the second division league, Bhutan Super League. This is Pasandoji for BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for watching.